All right, guys, very special feature here for you. We have, of course, my co-host, Big Simp. We have two of the biggest members of a big community in speedrunning. Majora's Mask hype in the house. Lots of stuff been going on in the community. We want to get right to it. MajinPhil, I'm going to let you, fill in everyone on what's going on. What's all this talk going about? Come on, let us know.
So, a couple months ago, a debug menu was discovered in Majora's Mask that essentially lets you write items into your inventory. And it had huge implications on the speedrun because instead of having to go and get the required items to beat the game as fast as possible through the actual, temples and getting the necessary items to complete the temples quickly and all that stuff, all you have to do is do the trick that lets you bring up the debug menu, which is known as a text overflow glitch, which we can go into a little more detail after. And you write the required items into your inventory, which are the 4 boss remains and the oath to order, so you can access the final boss. And then we also give ourselves some extra bombs and bomb shoes and the fierce deity mask to speed it up a little as well, and then just complete the game significantly faster than by actually going through it. So as far as looking at how much it improved the any percent runtime by, the old record used to sit at around 1 hour and 15 and a half minutes, and now the record is under 50 minutes, almost 48 minutes. So it's saved over 25 minutes on the 100% run.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. It also affects the 100% speed run. A lot of people have the assumption that just because you can give yourself all the items, it's kind of killing the game. But the 100% run also has a source requirement, meaning that the items that are considered key items for the run need to be collected from their original source like you would in a normal playthrough. And the only thing you can use the debug menu for in the run is to speed up that process. So anything that requires, collecting items in order to receive a key item, like for example, Skulltula tokens to receive a mask or Stray Fairies to receive a fairy reward, you can give yourself those ahead of time, and it speeds things up by, not having to run around and collect them. You just have to go get the final reward from the original source. So pretty big discovery overall.
Yeah. It is huge. The biggest thing I've heard of in speedrunning, like just hearing about it, I just started laughing because it was the most absurd thing that I think I've ever seen in a speedrun. And just the idea that you guys had to talk about, should save states be allowed in a run? So could you explain that? Like, I don't understand how there's save states with the debug.
Okay. So basically, within the Wii U, there's like a virtual console menu, and you can give yourself a restore point on Wii U for like any game. It's not just MM. But it's not like an external thing. It's already made within the console itself. So basically, we were deciding on whether or not that was going to be allowed within speedruns because it's already included in the console. So the debate was, okay, well, since it's included, should we just allow it, or is this dumb to have save states in the speedrun? Like, I don't know.
So it's like in the system, but they don't want anyone to ever do that themselves, right? It wasn't intended for a user to do that, right?
No, it was intended.
Okay.
It actually is intended. I don't know why they put that in there. I mean, like
restore points are a native feature to the Wii U Virtual Console menu.
Right.
We should also point out that this trick right now, as it stands, is exclusive only to the Wii U Virtual Console, and that's a big change because originally we were playing on the Wii Virtual Console, and the difference between basically the N64, the Wii, and the Wii U is the debug menu, as of right now, can only be used in a speedrun and applied on the Wii U because the debug menu can only be D-pad is not mapped on the Wii Virtual Console version of the game. So you can actually access the debug menu on Wii Virtual Console, but you can't maneuver the menu, so you can't give yourself any of the required items. And on N64, when you try to do the setup, it actually crashes the game.
Okay.
And so the only version where it doesn't crash the game and you can use the menu with the D-pad because it's mapped is on the Wii U Virtual Console. And so it just so happens that this version also comes with that restore point feature. And setting up a restore point takes a lot of time. It's a thing that takes a few seconds to set up when you do it. And so the argument was, should they be allowed? Because it's technically not going to benefit a top runner. It's only going to benefit a beginner runner, since it's something that people can use to start from a certain point without having to reset their game. But, you know, obviously there's the other side of that, you know, like should save states be allowed in a speedrun? It seems a little bit silly, right?
Yeah, that could open a can of worms, right? If you have like now you can do save states in speedrunning because it's is that doing something just because it's easier? Which I know that's not inherently bad, but is that just doing something because it makes it easier and that's something we should look to do?
I think it's like a positive thing that could come of that is it would be beneficial for someone trying to learn the game. Like if they're trying to just like play through the run and make these save states like get through the run, that would be beneficial. But like the other counter argument to that is, well, it's basically just a tool for practice that you can use. Like you don't really need to be using it in a full run itself, even though it's included within the native features of the Wii U. It's still like not something that would typically be used in the speedrun. I don't know.
You know, I could think of like one situation, like let's say there was a really specific trick that saved, you know, let's say 15, 20 minutes that required an extremely precise frame perfect setup. And you could use save states. Technically, it would be beneficial to make a save state right before attempting that trick and then reloading the state and trying it over and over again until you nailed that specific precise setup, right? And even if you failed it a dozen times, it would still be faster than not doing the trick at all, considering it'd save a lot of time. So, you know, there's a lot of situations like that where a save state would change what you would and wouldn't do in a speed run because it has less of a risk to go for it since you can just try it again, right?
That is interesting.